In the heart of the bustling city, within the pristine walls of one of its most renowned hospitals, worked Dr. Daniel Avery. Known for his steady hands and compassionate heart, Daniel was a figure of respect and admiration in the surgical community. His days were long, but fulfilling. The operating room was his sanctuary, a place where he felt most in control, most alive. The morning had started like any other. Daniel had performed a complex surgery, a procedure he had done countless times. However, as he removed his surgical gloves, a sense of unease crept over him. The chief physician, David, a stern man who rarely showed emotion, requested Daniel's presence in his office immediately. The walk to David's office felt longer than usual. The hospital corridors, usually buzzing with activity, seemed unusually quiet, almost somber. Daniel's heart raced, his mind swirling with possibilities. He had always been a pillar of professionalism. What could warrant such an urgent meeting? David's office was stark, the only personal touch being a family photo on the desk. Without preamble, David delivered the shocking news. Daniel was being dismissed, effective immediately. The reason given was vague, a need for new direction in the department. The words hit Daniel like a physical blow. His career, his identity, all seemed stunned. Daniel barely registered David's advice to take some time off, to recover from the shock. The world outside David's office seemed surreal, the hospital's once familiar halls now alien and cold. As he walked out of the building, the realization of what had happened began to sink in. Daniel Avery, once a celebrated surgeon, was now unemployed, his future uncertain. The media, always hungry for a scandal, latched onto the story of his dismissal. Headlines speculated wildly, adding to Daniel's distress. Friends and colleagues, once close, now seemed distant, unsure of how Daniel's once orderly life was now in disarray, the foundations shaken. In an attempt to distract himself, Daniel found himself doing mundane tasks, like grocery shopping. It was here, amidst the aisles of canned goods and fresh produce, that he had a chance encounter that would set his life on a new trajectory. As he reached for a carton of eggs, his attention was drawn to a young woman and her daughter, carefully counting coins to pay for their modest groceries. Something about them struck a chord in Daniel's heart, a reminder of his own mother's struggles years ago. Unbeknownst to him, this encounter with Sarah and Emily would mark the beginning of an unexpected journey, one that would lead him to confront his past, challenge his beliefs, and ultimately find a renewed sense of purpose in the most unlikely of places. The supermarket encounter with Sarah and Emily lingered in Daniel's mind long after he left the store. Their situation, a stark contrast to his own troubles, gnawed at him. He couldn't shake off the image of the little girl's hopeful eyes and her mother's wary, yet determined face. As he lay in bed that night, amidst the silence of his now too quiet apartment, a decision took root in his heart. The following day, Daniel returned to the supermarket, hoping to find Sarah and Emily. It felt like a small mission, a chance to do something good, something real amidst the chaos of his life. To his relief, he found them sitting at a nearby bus stop, their belongings few but cumbersome. Approaching them tentatively, he introduced himself. Their initial wariness faded as he spoke with genuine concern. In a bold, spur-of-the-moment decision, Daniel offered them a place to stay. His apartment, too large for just him, could easily accommodate them. He expected refusal, born out of pride or fear, but to his surprise, Sarah, the relief in her eyes was evident, and for the first time in days, Daniel felt a glimmer of purpose spark within him. Back at his apartment, Daniel watched as Sarah and Emily settled in. The small acts of setting up a makeshift bed in the living room, sharing a meal together, felt surprisingly comforting. It was a temporary arrangement, he knew, but for the moment it was enough. As days turned into weeks, the trio fell into a routine. Mornings were filled with shared breakfasts and small talk. Daniel learned that Sarah was fleeing a life marred by domestic abuse. Her husband, a man who had once promised to love and protect her, had become her tormentor. Sarah, determined to build a better life for Emily, had left with nothing but hope. Daniel found himself opening up about his own life, the loss of his job, the uncertainty of his future, and the loneliness that had crept into his life. In their shared vulnerability, an unlikely friendship formed. Sarah, with her resilience in the face of adversity, inspired Daniel. Emily's laughter brought a lightness to the apartment that had long been missing. One evening, as they shared stories of their pasts, Daniel encouraged Sarah to consider legal action against her husband. He saw in her a strength she had yet to recognize in herself. The conversation marked a turning point for Sarah, the realization that she had an ally in this strange, kind man who had opened his home and heart to them. Feeling a need for a change of scenery and some familial comfort, Daniel decided to visit his mother, Elizabeth, at her family farm. The farm, nestled in the countryside, was a place of solace and childhood memories. Leaving Sarah and Emily in his apartment felt right. They had become a part of his life in a way he hadn't expected. Elizabeth, a warm and nurturing presence, welcomed Daniel with open arms. As they caught up, Daniel found himself recounting his encounter with Sarah and Emily. Elizabeth, ever the empath, suggested that perhaps they would benefit from the tranquility of the farm as well. After ensuring his mother was comfortable with the idea, Daniel extended the invitation to Sarah and Emily. The prospect of fresh air, open spaces, and a break from the city was appealing to them. Together, they made plans to retreat to the farm, a decision that felt like a step forward, a path to healing and new beginnings. Little did they know, this retreat would unravel hidden connections and secrets, setting the stage for revelations that would change their lives forever. The journey to Elizabeth's farm was a departure from the ordinary for Sarah and Emily. As they drove through the winding country roads, the lush greenery and open skies were a stark contrast to the concrete and steel of the city they were leaving. For Daniel, the familiar landscape was a balm to his troubled spirit, each mile bringing him closer to a world where his problems seemed smaller, more manageable. Upon arrival, the warm embrace of Elizabeth was a welcome comfort. Her farmhouse, a charming structure with ivy crawling up its walls, felt like a haven from the outside world. Daniel watched as Sarah and Emily marveled at the expanse of the land, the gardens teeming with flowers and the distant mountains painting the horizon. Over the days, the farm became a place of healing. Elizabeth, with her gentle wisdom, became a maternal figure to Sarah and Emily. Their days were filled with simple joys, tending to the vegetable garden, baking in the old-fashioned kitchen, and evenings spent around the fireplace, sharing stories and laughter. It was during one of these evenings that Sarah stumbled upon an old family album in the study. As she leafed through the pages filled with black and white photographs, a particular picture caught her eye. It was a young Elizabeth, radiant and smiling, standing beside a man Sarah recognized all too well, her own father, John. The revelation was startling. Sarah's world, already in turmoil, seemed to spin even faster. She confronted Elizabeth, who, with a heavy heart, shared a long-kept secret. Years ago, before either of them were married, Elizabeth and John had shared a brief but intense romantic relationship. Circumstances and dreams had pulled them apart, leading them to their separate lives. This discovery created a whirlwind of emotions. Daniel was stunned. The idea that his mother and Sarah's father shared a past was almost inconceivable. For Sarah, it brought a new perspective to her own life, a hidden connection that felt both unsettling and strangely comforting. The days that followed were filled with a mix of awkwardness and contemplation. Daniel grappled with the fact that his mother had kept this part of her life hidden from him. Sarah wrestled with the implications of this connection to Daniel's family. Yet, amidst the confusion, a deeper understanding began to grow among them. As they navigated this unexpected twist, an unforeseen visitor arrived at the farm, John, Sarah's father. The meeting was a convergence of past and present, a moment fraught with tension and unspoken questions. John, unaware of the recent discovery, was surprised to find not only his daughter and granddaughter, but also a part of his past he thought was long buried. The reunion was a catalyst for airing grievances and clearing misunderstandings. John revealed his own reasons for seeking out Sarah, driven by a desire to reconnect and make amends for his past mistake. The encounter was emotional, each person confronting their own history and the impact it had on their present. In this confluence of past and present, Daniel found himself playing the unlikely role of mediator. His own recent experiences of loss and upheaval had given him a unique perspective on the fragility and complexity of human relationships. As the sun set over the farm, casting long shadows across the land, a sense of resolution began to take root. The gathering, which had started in awkwardness and surprise, ended with a newfound sense of understanding and acceptance. For Daniel, Sarah, and Emily, the farm had become more than a retreat. It was a place where their lives had unexpectedly intertwined, leading them to confront their past and embrace their future. The revelation of the intertwined pasts at the farm set in motion a series of conversations and reflections that stretched into the following days. The presence of John, a man who bore the weight of his own regrets, added a new dimension to the dynamic at the farmhouse. Each person, now connected in unexpected ways, began to navigate the complex tapestry of their shared histories. For Daniel, the arrival of his estranged father was a shock that reopened old wounds. His father's absence throughout his life had been a silent void, a question mark that lingered in the background. Now, confronted with the man himself, Daniel grappled with a mixture of resentment and a begrudging desire for reconciliation. Elizabeth, ever the peacemaker, facilitated conversations between father and son. She encouraged Daniel to express the feelings he had harbored for years. In the safety of the farm, surrounded by open fields and under the vast sky, Daniel found the space to confront his father. Their conversations, though fraught with emotion, began to bridge the gap of years of silence. Meanwhile, Sarah, caught between her own turbulent history and the unfolding drama of Daniel's family, found solace in Elizabeth's company. Elizabeth's strength and wisdom, shaped by her own life's trials, encouraged by Elizabeth, Sarah began to consider her future and the steps she needed to take to ensure a safe and stable life for Emily. Emily, blissfully unaware of the complexities around her, thrived in the farm's environment. Her laughter and innocence brought a lightness to the heavy atmosphere, reminding everyone of the simplicity and joy that life could offer. As days passed, the farm became a place of healing and understanding. John, seeing the impact of his past actions, sought forgiveness not only from his daughter, but also from Elizabeth and Daniel. His efforts, sincere and heartfelt, slowly began to mend the fractures within the makeshift family. The turning point came one evening as they all gathered for dinner. The conversation turned to memories of the past, stories of Elizabeth and John's youth. In these shared stories, a sense of camaraderie and acceptance began to emerge. They laughed, reminisced, and even shared tears. It was a moment of raw honesty and vulnerability, a baring of souls that had been long overdue. This newfound harmony paved the way for discussions about the future. Daniel, inspired by his mother's strength and moved by Sarah's determination to protect Emily, found a renewed sense of purpose. He began to see a path forward, one where he could use his skills and compassion in new ways, beyond the confines of a hospital. Sarah, bolstered by the support around her, made the decision to pursue legal action against her abusive husband. It was a step laden with fear and uncertainty, but the strength she drew from her newfound family gave her the courage to move forward. As the stay at the farm drew to a close, they all knew that they were returning to the city changed. The farm had been more than a retreat. It had been a crucible in which their individual pains and pasts had been confronted and transformed. They left the farm with a sense of closure and a hopeful outlook towards the future. Daniel, with a newfound connection to his father and a deepening bond with Sarah and Emily, felt ready to face the challenges ahead. Sarah, empowered and supported, looked forward to building a new life for herself and her daughter. And Elizabeth, the matriarch who had brought them all together, watched them leave with a sense of satisfaction and peace, knowing that the seeds of healing and reconciliation had been sown. Their journey back to the city was not just a return to their old lives, but a step into a new chapter, one filled with possibilities, challenges, and the promise of new beginnings. The return to the city marked a significant transition for each member of the group. The tranquility of the farm had provided a nurturing space for healing and reflection, but now they faced the realities of their individual journeys amidst the hustle and bustle of urban life. Daniel, once back in the city, found himself at a crossroads. His career as a surgeon, which had been a defining aspect of his identity, was the experience at the farm, however, had ignited a new passion within him, a desire to help those in need, beyond the confines of an operating room. He began exploring opportunities in public health, driven by a newfound purpose to make healthcare accessible to underserved communities. This pursuit brought him into contact with various non-profit organizations, opening a new chapter in his professional life. For Sarah, the return to the city was a courageous step forward. With the support of Daniel and Elizabeth, she initiated legal proceedings against her abusive husband. It was a daunting process, fraught with emotional challenges. She found strength not only in her personal resolve, but also in the support of her newfound friends. Daniel, witnessing her bravery, offered his unwavering support, attending court hearings with her and providing a comforting presence during her moments of doubt. Emily, adapting to the changes, found solace in the stability that Daniel's home provided. The environment, once a temporary shelter, had become a place of safety and warmth for her and Sarah. Daniel's apartment, with its walls that had once echoed with solitude, now resonated with the sounds of a makeshift family, laughter, conversation, and the occasional clatter of a shared meal. Amidst these personal journeys, the relationship between Daniel and Sarah deepened. What had started as a simple act of kindness had blossomed into a profound connection. Their shared experiences, the challenges they had overcome, and their mutual respect for each other's resilience fostered a bond that was both unexpected and deeply valued. Meanwhile, John, who had returned to his own life, made efforts to stay connected with Sarah and Emily. His visit to the farm had been a turning point, a chance to confront his past and seek redemption. Though the road to rebuilding his relationship with Sarah was long and fraught with complexity, he remained committed to being a part of his daughter and granddaughter's lives. As autumn turned to winter, the group found themselves navigating their new realities. Daniel, embarking on his new career path, found fulfillment in making a tangible difference in the lives of those less fortunate. Sarah, empowered by her legal victories and the support system she had found, began to rebuild her life with Emily. The journey was not without its challenges, but each step forward was a testament to her strength and determination. The festive season brought them all together again, this time in Daniel's apartment, transformed into a warm and welcoming space for celebration. Elizabeth joined them, bringing with her the comfort and joy of family. The gathering was a symbol of their journey, a blend of past sorrows, present challenges, and future hopes. As they sat around the dinner table, sharing stories and plans for the future, there was a palpable sense of gratitude and hope. The challenges they had faced had brought them together, creating a bond that was strengthened by adversity and nurtured by mutual support. Their story, a tapestry of loss, courage, and redemption, was a testament to the power of human connection and resilience. As they looked towards the future, they did so with the knowledge that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would not face them alone. For Daniel, Sarah, Emily, and Elizabeth, the journey ahead was uncertain but filled with the promise of new beginnings and the enduring strength of newfound family. As winter melted into spring, the lives of Daniel, Sarah, Emily, and their extended family continued to evolve. The season of renewal brought with it new challenges and opportunities, each a stepping stone on their respective journeys. Daniel's foray into public health was gaining momentum. He had become an integral part of a community outreach program, using his medical expertise to benefit those in need. His days were now filled with purpose, far removed from the sterile halls of the hospital, but equally impactful. He found joy in the tangible difference he made in people's lives, a sentiment that was both humbling and fulfilling. Sarah, having successfully navigated the legal battle against her abusive husband, was now embarking on a new chapter. With a sense of empowerment, she began to pursue her long-deferred dream of further education. Enrolling in evening classes, she balanced her studies with raising Emily, each day a testament to her resilience and determination. Her journey wasn't easy, juggling responsibilities and facing the lingering shadows of her past. But she was driven by a desire to build a better future for herself and her daughter. Emily, now more settled and secure, flourished in school. The love and stability she found in her new environment nurtured her into a bright and curious child. She formed a special bond with Elizabeth, who often took care of her while Sarah was at her classes. Elizabeth's farmhouse stories and life lessons became a source of wonder and learning for Emily. The relationship between Daniel and Sarah continued to deepen. Their friendship had evolved into something more meaningful, a bond forged through shared experiences and mutual respect. They were cautious, aware of the complexities of their pasts, but there was an undeniable connection that neither could ignore. Meanwhile, John maintained his efforts to be a part of his daughters' and granddaughters' lives. The process was gradual, with moments of awkwardness and hesitation, but his sincerity was evident. His visits became more frequent, and with each one, the gap that had once seemed insurmountable began to close. As spring gave way to summer, the group found themselves planning a reunion at Elizabeth's farm. It was to be a celebration of the strides they had all made, a moment to pause and appreciate the journey they had been on. The farm, which had been the setting for so many pivotal moments, was the perfect backdrop for such a gathering. The reunion was a joyous occasion, filled with laughter, storytelling, and reflections on the past year. Elizabeth, ever the gracious host, had prepared a feast, and the table was set under the open sky. As they dined, the setting sun cast a warm glow over the group, symbolizing the hope and warmth that had come to define their relationships. During the reunion, Daniel took a moment to share his plans for expanding the community outreach program. His vision was met with encouragement and offers of support from everyone, reinforcing the sense of community they had built. Sarah, brimming with pride, shared her academic achievements and spoke about her aspirations for the future. Her journey, once fraught with uncertainty, was now a path paved with purpose and ambition. As the evening progressed, the conversation turned to reflections on the strength they had found in each other. It was clear that the bonds they had formed were not just born out of circumstance, but out of a deep-rooted connection that had grown over time. The night ended with a sense of contentment and a collective look towards the future. They had each faced their own battles, but together they had emerged stronger. The path ahead was still lined with challenges, but they knew that whatever came their way, they would face it together, as a family forged not just by blood, but by shared experiences and unwavering support. Their story, a tapestry of hardship, courage, healing, and hope, was a testament to the transformative power of human connection and the resilience of the human spirit. As they parted ways, promising to gather again soon, they did so with the knowledge that they were no longer walking their paths alone. For Daniel, Sarah, Emily, Elizabeth, and John, the journey ahead was filled with endless possibilities, each day an opportunity to grow, to love, and to live fully. As the year progressed, the bond between Daniel, Sarah, Emily, Elizabeth, and John continued to strengthen and evolve. The summer reunion at the farm had been a pivotal moment, solidifying their commitment to each other as a family united not just by circumstance, but by choice and affection. Daniel's community outreach program had begun to flourish under his passionate leadership. He spearheaded initiatives that brought medical care to the underserved, organizing health fairs and free clinics. His dedication inspired others to join the cause, expanding the program's reach. This work, though demanding, filled him with a sense of purpose and satisfaction that he had never felt in his previous career. Sarah's journey of personal growth and empowerment was equally inspiring. Her evenings were spent in classes, each one bringing her closer to her goal of earning a degree. The challenges of balancing her studies, motherhood, and her growing relationship with Daniel were daunting, but she faced them with unwavering determination. Her resilience became a source of inspiration for those around her, including Emily, who watched her mother transform into a confident and self-assured woman. Emily, now thriving in the stability and love of her newfound family, blossomed into a bright, inquisitive child. Her weekends were often spent at Elizabeth's farm, where she learned about nature, animals, and the simplicity of farm life. These experiences enriched her young life, providing a counterbalance to the urban environment of her weekdays. Elizabeth, the matriarch of this unique family, continued to be a source of wisdom and comfort. Her farm became a refuge for them all, a place where they could escape the pressures of the city and reconnect with each other and with nature. Her bond with each member of the family was special, and she reveled in the joy of seeing them grow and support one another. John's relationship with his daughter and granddaughter, though still a work in progress, had improved significantly. He made regular visits to the city, each time deepening the bond with Sarah and Emily. His past mistakes, while not forgotten, were slowly being overshadowed by his genuine efforts to make amends and be a part of their lives. As autumn arrived, bringing with it a tapestry of changing leaves and crisp air, Daniel and Sarah's relationship reached a new milestone. One evening, under a canopy of stars, Daniel proposed to Sarah. It was a simple yet heartfelt moment, filled with the promise of a future together. Sarah's acceptance was met with tears of joy and the warm embrace of a man who had become her partner, her confidant, and her best friend. The news of their engagement brought great joy to the family. Plans for a small, intimate wedding began, with Elizabeth offering her farm as the venue. The preparation for the wedding became a new project for the family, bringing them together in a flurry of activity and anticipation. The wedding day, set in the midst of autumn's splendor, was a beautiful culmination of their journey. Surrounded by the golden hues of the farm and the warm smiles of their loved ones, Daniel and Sarah exchanged vows. The ceremony was a reflection of their journey, simple, genuine, and full of love. As they stood hand in hand, with Emily beaming beside them, it was clear that their story was not just one of individual triumphs, but of collective strength and unity. They had each faced their own battles, but together, they had created a tapestry of life rich with experiences, lessons, and love. Their story, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of love and family, continued to unfold with each passing day. For Daniel, Sarah, Emily, Elizabeth, and John, life was a journey of continuous growth and discovery, a journey they were grateful to travel together. As they looked to the future, they did so with the knowledge that whatever it held, they would face it as a family, united in love and purpose. The newlyweds, Daniel and Sarah, embarked on their life together with a sense of optimism and unity. Their wedding at Elizabeth's farm had been a celebration of love and the coming together of their blended family. It was a new beginning, one that they approached with shared dreams and aspirations. In the months following their marriage, Daniel's community outreach program continued to thrive, expanding its services and impact. Sarah, now more motivated than ever, completed her degree, her academic success a symbol of her perseverance and strength. Her achievement was a joyful occasion for the family, celebrated with pride and admiration. Emily, growing up in the nurturing environment provided by Daniel, Sarah, and Elizabeth, flourished. She had developed a love for learning, often accompanying Daniel on his community projects, where she learned the value of service and compassion. Her bond with her grandmother, Elizabeth, remained strong, the farm remaining a favorite retreat for her. The dynamic within the family continued to evolve. Elizabeth, ever the pillar of strength, began to entrust more of the farm's responsibilities to Daniel and Sarah, seeing in them the future of the farm. This gradual passing of the torch was a testament to her confidence in their ability to carry on her. John, who had been working diligently to rebuild his relationship with Sarah and Emily, found a sense of redemption in his new role as a grandfather. His visits to the city became more frequent, and he took an active interest in Emily's education and well-being. The bond that had once seemed so fragile was now strengthening, built on a foundation of trust and understanding. As the seasons changed, the family found themselves facing new challenges and opportunities. Daniel, recognizing the need for more comprehensive healthcare services in underserved areas, began to work on establishing a permanent clinic. His vision was to create a space that would offer not only medical care, but also educational programs and support services. Sarah, with her newfound confidence and experience, joined him in this endeavor, bringing her perspective and ideas to the project. The process of establishing the clinic was a journey in itself, filled with bureaucratic hurdles and logistical challenges. However, Daniel and Sarah, supported by their family, persevered. Their combined efforts and dedication eventually led to the opening of the clinic, a milestone that was a source of immense pride and accomplishment for everyone involved. The clinic quickly became a beacon of hope in the community, offering services that had been previously inaccessible to many. Daniel and Sarah's work extended beyond medical care. They became advocates for their patients, working to address the root causes of health disparities. Their approach, holistic and compassionate, reflected their personal experiences and the lessons they had learned on their journey. Meanwhile, Elizabeth, witnessing the growth and impact of Daniel and Sarah's work, felt a profound sense of contentment. Her farm, which had been a sanctuary for the family, continued to be a place of gathering, celebration, and respite. The legacy she had built was now being carried forward in new and meaningful ways. As the years passed, the family's story continued to unfold. They faced life's ups and downs together, their bonds strengthened by each challenge and triumph. Their journey was a testament to the power of love, resilience, and the human spirit's ability to overcome adversity. Daniel, Sarah, Emily, Elizabeth, and John's lives were intertwined in a tapestry of experiences that spoke of hope, healing, and the enduring strength of family. Their story, a narrative of transformation and growth, continued to inspire those around them, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is light, and with love and support, anything is possible. As the years progressed, the clinic established by Daniel and Sarah became not just a center for healthcare, but a symbol of community and hope. Their work transcended the boundaries of traditional medicine, touching the lives of countless. The clinic also became a training ground for young medical professionals who shared their vision of compassionate, community-based care. Emily, now a teenager, had grown into a bright and compassionate young woman, influenced by the values and experiences of her family. Her interest in medicine and public service, nurtured by her upbringing, led her to volunteer at the clinic, working alongside Daniel and Sarah. Her presence added a new layer of joy and energy to the clinic, and her innovative ideas brought fresh perspectives to their work. Elizabeth, now in her golden years, continued to be the heart of the family. Her wisdom and unwavering support were the glue that held them together through thick and thin. The farm remained a cherished family retreat, a place where they gathered to celebrate milestones, reflect on their journey, and recharge for the challenges ahead. John, having fully reconciled with Sarah and Emily, enjoyed his role as a grandfather. His relationship with Daniel had also grown stronger, built on mutual respect and shared experiences. The family's journey had taught him the value of forgiveness and the power of second chances. As the family navigated the ebbs and flows of life, they faced new challenges and celebrated new achievements. Sarah, with her passion for education and advocacy, started community workshops at the clinic, focusing on health education, women's empowerment, and domestic violence awareness. Her programs became an integral part of the clinic's mission, extending its impact beyond physical health to social and emotional well-being. Daniel, seeing the broader impact of their work, began collaborating with other organizations to address larger systemic issues affecting community health. His leadership and vision drew attention from healthcare leaders and policymakers, positioning the clinic as a model for community-driven healthcare initiatives. The family's journey, however, was not without its trials. They faced personal losses, financial challenges, and the inevitable conflicts that come with growth and change. But each obstacle served to strengthen their resolve and deepen their connections with each other and their community. As Emily approached the end of her high school years, she faced the pivotal decision of her future path. Inspired by her parents and the work at the clinic, she decided to pursue a career in medicine, hoping to continue the legacy of service and compassion that Daniel and Sarah had established. The story of Daniel, Sarah, Emily, Elizabeth, and John had become a living legacy, a testament to the power of love, resilience, and community. Their lives, woven together through shared experiences and a collective vision, had created a tapestry of impact that extended far beyond their family. As they looked to the future, they did so with a sense of hope and determination. The clinic, a beacon of their shared dreams and efforts, continued to thrive, evolving with the changing needs of the community. Their story, a narrative of transformation and hope, continued to inspire and influence those around them. A reminder that even the most challenging journeys can lead to beautiful destinations. Their lives, individually and together, were a journey of continuous growth, love and service. A journey that would continue to unfold in new and unexpected ways, touching lives and shaping futures for generations to come. Years had passed since Daniel and Sarah first opened their clinic, and their vision had blossomed into a reality that surpassed even their wildest dreams. The network of clinics now spanned several communities, each a beacon of hope and healing. Their journey had not been without its struggles, but each challenge had been met with the same resilience and determination that had marked their early days. Emily, following in her parents' footsteps, had become a respected public health doctor. Her innovative work in blending clinical practice with policy reform had made significant strides in healthcare accessibility. She carried the legacy of her parents forward, driven by the same passion for service and compassion that had defined their lives. Elizabeth, now an elder stateswoman in the community, had seen her family's impact grow and ripple through the generations. Her wisdom and guidance had been a guiding light through the years, and she took great pride in the role her family played in bettering the lives of those around them. John, having lived a life of redemption and service, passed away peacefully, leaving behind a legacy of change and a story of transformation that continued to inspire. His journey from a troubled past to a beacon of positive change was a testament to the power of second chances and personal growth. As for Daniel and Sarah, they had grown old together, their love and partnership a constant through the changing seasons of life. They gradually stepped back from the day-to-day operations of the clinics, entrusting their legacy to a new generation of healthcare professionals inspired by their model of compassionate care. The clinics continued to thrive, each a part of the tapestry that Daniel and Sarah had begun weaving all those years ago. Their story had become one of legend in the community, a narrative of love, resilience, and unwavering commitment. In their twilight years, Daniel and Sarah often sat on the porch of Elizabeth's farmhouse, now their home, looking out over the fields that had witnessed so much of their family's story. They watched as their grandchildren played, their laughter a sweet melody that filled the air with hope. Their lives had been a journey of incredible depth and meaning, marked by the countless lives they had touched and the lasting change they had created. as they held hands, watching the sunset paint the sky with hues of orange and pink. They knew that their legacy was not just in the clinics they had built or the policies they had influenced. It was in the love they had shared, the family they had nurtured, and the countless hearts they had touched. Daniel and Sarah's story was a testament to the enduring power of human kindness and the indomitable spirit of those who dare to dream and work for a better world. Their legacy, etched in the hearts and lives of those they had served, would continue to inspire and impact generations to come. A legacy of hope, healing, and humanity. And so, as the final chapter of their story closed, it left behind a narrative not of an end, but of a beginning, a continuing journey of hope, echoing into the future, a testament to the enduring power of love and the transformative impact of compassionate action